welcome to All in Adams, the official podcast of Adams County government, where we're all in for our residents, our employees, and our community. So whether you live here, work here, or you just want to know more about what makes Adams County a great place to be, thanks for tuning in. We're all in, Adams. Welcome back into another episode. I'm Nikki Kimbleton, the Communications Director at Adams County. So coming up again on May 3rd this year is the annual Foster Care 5K. It's an event created in part by former County Commissioner Chaz Tedesco, who has a deep passion for foster care, and he just wanted to ensure that there was public awareness and community support for foster families in Adams County. So joining us today is Erica. She is a licensed foster parent along with her husband, Jason, who couldn't be here today.
Correct.
But since 2019. So first in this episode, we've got a two-parter for you folks. We're going to be talking to this wonderful family about their foster care journey and the why behind this event that's coming up. And then coming up a little bit later in the episode, no matter your fitness level, I promise you, no matter your fitness level, we are going to be joined by a personal trainer and fitness expert who's going to tell us how you can go from couch to course in just 30 days. Or if that's a little bit too much for a 5K, how you can tackle the 1 mile fun run that's also going to be available on May 3rd. So let's go ahead and get to know Erica a little bit more. Thank you for coming in.
Absolutely. Thank you for letting us share our journey of foster care.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we want to hear about. So this started for you in 2019. What was it? What was the inspiration for you and Jason to decide to become foster parents?
Sure. Well, we had we'd been kind of exploring it through maybe some social media accounts. I had read some stories, just some books about foster care. I was really intrigued by it, but I didn't know for sure if it was for us, if it was something that we could do. And, then a friend was placed in my life, a real life foster parent, and she just made it very real to me. We started to interact more and more on our kids' playground at the school, and I just saw her being very normal. She was a mom, I was a mom. She had kids, she had foster kids, and it humanized it. It made her, look, she was normal, and I realized in that moment, like, that's something I think that I could do. And so I had this list of questions in my mind of what does it look like to start doing this, and I had a person that I could ask. And then I got to that point where, I knew all this information and I thought, wow, I think I could do this. Mm-hmm. And it broke me. And I remember driving home and I called my husband weeping because I was like, there is this need in our community and I think that we can help out. And he had listened to me for years and years talk about it. And he said, now is the time. What do we need to do? Mm-hmm. And so that led us to going to the Adams County foster intro class, and the rest is history.
And, I love that story. And thank you so much for sharing that. And especially that emotional part of it, because we really do need foster families. I mean, and we have a wonderful program here. Mm-hmm. At Adams County, our Human Services Center really walks you through it and tries to make it as easy as possible with being, of course, responsible as possible. Mm-hmm. But, one thing you said is that you realized there's a need. I'm sure you realize that now even more that you've been in the system.
Absolutely. That it's unfortunate that there is a need for foster homes for kids in foster care. We wish that weren't the case, mm-hmm. but the reality is there's a need. And we need more people to step up. We are at a low right now for whatever reason. And so my whole hope and desire for doing podcasts, for putting us out there is to say, it doesn't take an angel, a saint. Mm-hmm. We get a lot of different names. A lot of people say, oh, foster care, I could never do that. You must be someone special. You must be, like I said, a saint. It's like, no, I'm a everyday person. I am a mom of 3 really great kids and a temporary mom for a number of other kiddos.
I think you just have to have the love and care, and really want to welcome somebody into your family, first of all, you've had 10 placements, is that correct?
Yep, we have had 10 placements since we became licensed. So we were licensed in early 2019 and have since, welcomed 10 kids into our home.
And, for you, adoption wasn't really the goal. It was really providing that safe, loving place until the right home was secured. I found that very interesting. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, our intent in foster care, I mean, the goal of foster care is always reunification. And if not with biological parents, with family members. And so our place that we see our families serving in this area is truly to be a temporary home. We talk about we just want to be a safe landing spot to kids in need for however long that is. I mean, some placements have been with us for a week. Our longest was with us for 10 months.
Mm-hmm.
And, that was an amazing reunification story with his dad. And, but yeah, our adoption is part of our story. We really feel that our place in foster care is that temporary space. And we've found that to be the sweet spot for our family.
Yeah. And even though it's temporary, you still now have a larger extended family. What's it like to watch these kids thrive and grow after you've come in contact with them?
I mean, that's the best part of it is forming the relationships with the kiddos, with the family members. I mean, it's like we've welcomed 10 children into our home, but we've welcomed so many of their families into our space as well. And so we get to know these extended family members or the biological parents. And just to say, we are here for you. We are here to love and support you. We are here to take your child in for a season so that you can get the help that you need, with that goal of giving your child back to you, because it's not our desire to be that long-term placement. And so it's incredible to watch them grow up and to remain in their lives. I am so grateful. Every kid we've had in our house, we have established a relationship with them. So at any given time, I can text the caregivers, the adoptive homes, whatever it may be, and say, hey, can I get an update? Can I see a photo? How are they doing? How can we support you guys?
And I bet it's been a huge benefit for your biological kids.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah.
People don't want to get into foster care because they often say, I could never give them back, right? First of all, not the goal of foster care. But second of all, it's very real. I understand that. But when you're able to form that relationship, you can see the kids past, the time that they are in your house. And honestly, it helps all of us to be able to say, it's not goodbye, it's see you later. And to be able to actually see them later and to get updates. I think it's why our family can keep doing this over and over.
Yeah. And we appreciate the fact that you are. All right. So we have this great event coming up, the Foster Care 5K. Great way to raise money and awareness. In some years they've raised as much as $17,000. Why do you feel it's so important for people to take part in this event and support the foster families that are here in Adams County?
Yeah. There is a saying by my favorite author, Jason Johnson in foster care, and he says, not everybody can bring a child in their home, but everybody can do something. And so I really want to honor that statement because I know not everybody is equipped with extra room in their house or extra free time in their schedules. And so being able to say, but everybody in our community has a part to play for kids in need. And so maybe it's being able to show up and see these kiddos, that they are just kids that are just in a hard situation right now. These are foster families, but these are just normal, everyday people. And then being able to step into that and then give what you're able to give. Maybe you can't take that child, but perhaps you can come around and support a foster family through wraparound care. Maybe you are able to donate your time with Foster Source, which is a nonprofit in our area that supports foster families. So there's several ways to get involved. Foster Care 5K is a wonderful way to do that.
I could not have segued this better. Thank you, because really everybody can play a part. And that's the thing. We want to talk to you folks that are listening and watching right now. If you'd like to get involved in the foster program, that's fantastic. We're going to have ways you can do that in our show notes. But also, if that is not something you're interested in, here's how you can help. You can get involved in our 5K that's coming up. So the money raised from this event is put into a specific fund that is used only for Adams County foster care. We're going to tell you how to register once again in the show notes. You can go there. You can also go to adcogov.org/fostercare5K. More about the cost to participate is coming up in just a minute. First, though, we're going to be right back with our fitness expert who is going to tell us once again how you can go from couch to 5K in 30 days. And I do promise you it is possible. Now, you may not be running it, you maybe you're like run walking it, but we're going to give you the details. I'm Nikki Kimbleton, the communications director. And thank you so much, Erica, for coming in and give our best to Jason as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
We are back with personal coach, fitness trainer Noah Trins, talking about how to get you ready for the foster care 5K. It's a great way to raise money for foster care and for care and support and events in Adams County. So Noah, thanks for coming in. We appreciate it.
Yeah, happy to be here.
All right. So couch to 5K. It's totally possible.
Correct.
All right.
Yes.
Totally possible. So, but the first thing that we really need to do is the mindset.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
So a lot of us are under the impression that just because we've never run or we don't work out that we're not a runner or we can't do that. I think telling ourselves that we can do it and shifting that mindset from, oh, I'm out of shape and can never do this, to I am a runner. And even if that means, partially walking, partially running, like I can do this.
Yeah.
So that's a big shift for it.
Showing up.
Consistency.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Way more important than your speed or the mileage that you're putting under. Just showing up is way more important.
So I'm not a runner anymore, but
Okay.
about 12 years ago, I had never done a 5K and I decided to do it. And
Yeah.
I just started with walking like a half a mile. And then, when I got up to walking the 3 miles, then I started like jogging the first part. And within three or 4 years, which is a lot longer than 30 days, I did a 15K. And I mean, so I know like, again, but it was really just me signing up, committing to be there on that start line, and nothing feels better, right?
No, it doesn't. It really feels good and you're proud of yourself. And I think it's about celebrating those small wins too, right? So whether it's that first run, that first mile, that first week of training, and you get this satisfaction that maybe you didn't have just sitting on the couch, and you can show up for yourself and those around you. And I think it's a really important thing to do, not just for the foster care, but just for your livelihood and your mental health as well.
Yeah, and obviously to keep yourself in, in good, healthy shape. So that's another thing too. I think that when you're talking about the mindset, we want to tell people you're not competing against anybody. If people are passing you and you're walking, like that's totally fine.
Correct. It's you versus you.
Yeah.
That's it. There's no one else that's going to push you besides you. And comparison is the thief of joy. That's a quote that I love to
That's a good one.
use within my own fitness journey and for my clients that I've worked with, because, you can see somebody that's, running way faster than you or lifting heavier weights than you, but, they're on a different part of their journey, and you should celebrate where you are in your journey.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But with all this said, you do need a plan.
Correct.
Okay, so how do we plan for this over the next 30 days?
So I would say putting it in your calendar is a great thing to do. You can use apps like Strava. They have a tailored couch to 5K program, or anything, a Garmin or an Apple Watch, something like that to keep you accountable. But any of those options are really great to help just propel you forward and move you towards that goal.
I knew you were going to mention the Strava program, and I took a look at it, and it's great. I think it really does give you accountability. It gives you a schedule, and it really can build you up to that.
Correct.
Yeah. But once again, you don't have to, I mean, so what would you say about, like the walking versus running? I mean, you kind of still want to get like a little bit of your jog on, right? Unless you're not able to.
Correct. If you have physical limitations or if you have severe injuries and are unable to run, that's totally okay. But it's also totally okay to walk, a minute, jog a minute, walk a minute, jog a minute, and then build up over that month. Or, even if it's past the month, right? This can be beyond the foster care 5K. It can be just for your life. But yeah, it's totally okay to walk for a part of the time. And hopefully over that period, you can lessen the walking and increase the running. But even for advanced runners, there's benefit in running, in the walking and the running. So shouldn't get discouraged just because you are walking. But it's totally okay to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those listening and watching, I'm walking it. So if you want to, you can just walk it with me. And I promise, again, what did you say? It's the comparison is the
thief of joy.
The thief of joy. So we'll just walk it together because my running days are long gone. That said too, we want to make it fun.
Correct.
You do want to make it fun. So one of your suggestions is it's all about what you're listening to.
Yeah. So whether that's a good podcast or an audiobook or a great playlist, that's can be beneficial in helping you stay motivated to run this or walk this or just walk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's lots of places that you can get really good playlists that are, like inspirational.
Correct.
One of the funniest stories I've ever heard, and I'm not sure if you have any Foo Fighters on your
I love the Foo Fighters.
On the mix list. They actually asked the lead singer of the Foo Fighters, who do you listen to when you're working out? Because, everybody listens to the Foo Fighters.
Right.
Like that is actually one of the things that was on my old running mix. But it really is true, whether it's like a true crime podcast, an education podcast, or you want like a good music mix. It's got to keep you busy and distracted.
For sure. Yeah, something that has like fast beats or something that's, more intense a little bit to get that heart rate up just a bit.
Yeah, I like it. And then back to the Strava app for just a minute. I just want to reiterate too that what I found so great about that is that you can put in your goal. Like if you want to run a portion of it, if you want to walk it, and it's going to be tailor-made for what your fitness goal is.
Correct. And which is a really great tool, but I also believe just like the ability to be able to walk and run, we shouldn't be so focused on the numbers as opposed to how we're feeling internally, because there's always going to be factors, right? We, get in a fight with our spouse or our partner, or we had a bad day at work, or we, got sick. So I think while we should stick to it as much as we can, we should also be adaptable with that and be like, all right, today, I'm not feeling as great. I'm still going to move, and Strava's telling me to do X amount of miles, but I'm only going to do what I feel like I can do today, because that's all you have is the person that you are showing up with right now.
Yeah, and that brings me to one of the final points that you had, prepared me for, is that expect challenges, whether that's getting sore, your kid's up all night sick, and you don't get any sleep. Like, what's the importance of working through those?
That leads us back to that consistency, right? Like being able to have life throw whatever it's going to throw at us and continue to move to our goal. Because again, there's always going to be something. We're never going to have a perfect week, month where we're going to be able to train the way we want to train. So I think it's just taking those like kind of on the chin, but allowing us to flow and mold to the goals that we are hoping to achieve.
All right. Thank you, Noah, for coming in, getting us pumped up and ready to take on this 5K. So as I mentioned, we're going to put the links in the show notes. We'll put the link to the Strava app there as well. But in addition to that, you can also go to adcogov.org/fostercare5K to register. So there are several ways to sign up. I'm going to tell you really quickly about the pricing. If you register by April 18th, you are going to get a discount. It's $27.50 for adults. Students, and if you're under the age of 18, it's only $16.90 for you. You can also register up to a family of 5 at the same address. That's going to cost you $48.70. So that's a big discount. And if you are a current foster family, we appreciate you so much. And that family of 5 is only $27.50. We'd love to see you and have you help us to raise money for the much needed support of these amazing families and children in need. Noah Trins, thank you so much for being here. And I'm Nikki Kimbleton, Communications Director for Adams County. That's a wrap for this episode of All in Adams. Thank you for joining us as we explore the people, programs, and the policies that make Adams County a great place to live, work, and thrive. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to subscribe and share with your friends, neighbors, and colleagues. Have a topic you'd like us to cover? Let us know. We're all in for bringing you the stories that matter most. Until next time, take care of each other and stay connected with us on Facebook, Instagram, Nextdoor, and X. We're all in Adams, and we're all in for you.